Hello, everybody. It's been a while since we've talked. We just finished the Journey to the Center of Self Care, which was my 500 video. And now from there, I've taken the last month and a half, 2 months to think about where should I go next on this journey and what is the kind of next chapter in self care. I believe this to be uh, the experience of self care. So the videos moving on are going to be about that thing, experiencing self-care and how it plays out in life, lifestyle, history, and so on and so forth. Before we get into those matters, I wanted to quickly kind of go over some feedback that I had from different viewers and stuff like that. One was the fact that I don't tend to answer questions when I do my videos and stuff like that. The idea, and I thought about it because I thought I was answering the question, so that was very interesting. And after critiquing myself and looking over videos and really looking into that matter, as I take it very seriously, I realized that the type of answer that I give is not particularly one that is conventional. So the answer that I'm always giving is the invitation for a self experience, as opposed to the logical deduction of what should be the conclusion of whatever words or topic that I'm on. I hope in understanding that it makes things a little bit more uh, easy to follow and know that I'm solving for essentially the person going through a new experience, in a way, getting their own answers to the question that was proposed or kind of talked about in the videos. Another kind of piece of feedback was that the topics are a little bit complex, and rightfully so. It is a complex topic, although I'm going to try to make things a little bit more kind of easy to utilize in lifestyle and to kind of bring it all home. Again, I'm not particularly in charge of, let's say, the destination of the conversation. It is just the conclusions of research and experiences that I've had on a topic that kind of come to what we move into. So, that all being cleared, the new pursuit of the experiencing of self care led me to be interested in the top 3 or 4 topics. Uh, Again, it's not something that I particularly sat down and said, these are the things that I want to answer, but these are things that stood out as in interesting after understanding the things that I did in our previous topics. So, one of them is, does a human being have a natural kind of migratory uh, sense? So I use that in understanding of that birds have a way of knowing to fly back um, north or south during the times of migration. Equally, fish, salmon have the same kind of instinct to go back home. Is there such a thing in a human? This is an interesting question to me. Another thing is the mind made to remember? This seems interesting because um, often I see that the mind is more of a processing thing than a remembering thing, and the subconscious is the thing that remembers many different things. As there are many steps to walking, and we don't know them all consciously, but they're still recorded, I believe that this is better utilized by the subconscious versus the conscious mind, which is genuinely going to process that information and have a solve for some kind of conclusion. Another interesting thing that popped into my head is that um, we say that the earth has a natural resource, renewable wind, water, these kind of things. Does a human being have the same thing? Do we have a natural resource that is unique to us and that can be kind of replenished by ourselves? I think that we do. This thing being wisdom, and takes a little cultivation to accomplish, but we'll get into that in a different video. I believe I had one more thing that I found interesting, and this is the way of um, self care. I always said that was not something that was ever practiced or written down or taken upon by anybody specifically in the history of humanity. However, I've really started to see that it was more of an experience thing that happened. This thing is not necessarily cultivated by the reading of a book, although insights into the kind of experience might be expressed that way. And because self care is more of an experience, we're going to take a look at that, and thus the topic of the experiencing of self care being the highlight of the videos to come. Hopefully, that sparked a little bit of interest in those understandings and in those new pursuits, and that clarifies a few things. Again, if you have any concerns or feedback from myself, I'll gladly take it and use it to further the pursuit. I don't want to be biased in my opinion, and I try to, again, use a variety of sources of information and experiences and lectures and so on to be able to come to not particularly what was said in those things, but the kind of background of it, right? So we can easily talk about what we know, but in between the things that we know are the things that we don't. And I use that information to kind of cross-contrast different professionals or experts in different fields of health and philosophy, and in that way create more of a true picture to the era that the information was founded in and the background of those things. All right, so stay tuned for some very interesting information, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.